Hare Krishna. Good morning, my dear Prabhus and Matajis. If you could hear me clearly, isang like naman dyan. And if you could see me as well, wonderful. Good morning, good morning. Hare Krishna, Charles, Prabhu, Janice, Hare Krishna, Riza, Hare Krishna, Raul, Hare Krishna, good morning. Rizal, Hare Krishna, Pat, Hare Krishna, KD, Hare Krishna, Ben, Hare Krishna, Kani, Hare Krishna, John and Mataji, Hare Krishna. Hello, Uzayas. Hare Krishna. So it's gonna be a fun and interesting topic for today. So hindi natin papatagalin. We should start by reciting the invocation mantras. So you can chant together with me. Om Ajnatimirandasya Jananjana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tashmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Sarasvati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvya eva cha Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, good morning. Hi Kashantal, Jasri, Hare Krishna, Nikki, Hare Krishna, Pascual, Hare Krishna. Yan, nap time daw si Osayas. So, quick recap ng ating discussion. Stepped. So, stay in the world. Don't forget si lotus flower. We must be just like a lotus flower. At least try and aspire to be. Even though in the midst of the material energy, in the middle of society, kahit nasa gitna ka pa ng Makati, you could be a lotus flower. Whatever is happening around, you could still maintain your purity by the performance of sadhana. We are not saying that we're pure, but we're trying to be, because that's the way how we could cleanse the mirror of the heart or remove the unwanted baggages through performance of sadhana. So there are three doers: us, the soul, and who will hear our desires, si Krishna, and yung bibigyan niya ng sanction, the material nature, his energy. And the material energy will fulfill our desire or not fulfill our desires. Then we should have equal vision. According to Krishna, a wise man or a humble sage sees yung brahmana, the priest, yung normal na tao, yung hayop, elephant, dog, pati mga dog eaters as equal. They see them as the soul. And they see Krishna from within as well. And how to attain peace individually and collectively if we know Krishna is the supreme beneficiary of everything, as well as knowing Krishna is the ultimate friend. So having this, one could attain Shanti, Shanti, Om, or peace. Second chapter, this is chapter 6 ng Bhagavad Gita. The acronym is EASY because sinabi ni Krishna kay Arjuna, so gusto mo pumunta sa forest to just perform um, meditation. Don't you know kung ano yung mga requirements ng meditation na yan, ng yoga na yan? It is not that easy because the mind could be our best friend or our enemy. So we have to do this, the Ashtanga Yoga, in complete seclusion, in a celibate life, with a complete focus, not just for hours, days, or weeks, or months, but for years and years, decades even. And there's a lot of requirements to perform this yoga. So pag hindi mo natapos to, sabi niya, iba't ibang klaseng success or failure on your results. If one is an imperson, if one is a materialist, of course, wala siyang may perfect na spiritual life kasi material lang ginagawa niya. Next life, we don't know. Most probably zero. Depende sa attachment niya. There was this one story, um, one man, nagsimipag siya, galing siya from rag to riches. So yumaman siya ng yumaman, but completely attached siya dun sa empire na nagawa niya. He was not that good of a leader. Or hindi siya leader kasi hindi nga good. He was not good as a boss. Then, yung mga angkan niya, mga anak and apo niya, also works for the company. And di may iwasan, he have to die. Just like every human being. Sobrang attached niya dun sa empire na ginawa niya. He was always thinking of it. Even the last breath, ayun yung inisip niya. So guess what? Doon siya uli pinanganak sa next life niya. Of course, dumaan muna siya sa mga marriage planet, pagiging ibang hayop, pa ibang living entity. Pero naging human siya, doon siya bumalik. Pero hindi na siya boss. Siya na yung beggar doon sa labas ng building and ng mga empire nila. Tapos yung mga apo niya, pinapaalis lang siya doon. So that's material life. Wala ka madala sa libingan or sa next life mo materially. So yung mga impersonalities, they will get zero. If they perfected it, zero. If they not, zero. Kasi that's their meditation. Going to the light, nothingness, voidism. Those who are performing mysticism of yoga, that's two part. The near perfection, they will imagine, they will realize that the goal is to realize Krishna from within. But before that, a large percentage of those who practice are just doing it for mysticism. If if these mystic yogis did not finish or perfected their life, their spiritual life, so zero sila next life. Wala silang mystic power na makukuha next life. There may be traces, but still. Pero yung mga near perfection, they are trying to meditate on the supreme within, those yogis, even na yung mga supreme, mystic power sila, they don't mind them kasi alam nila yung goal ng yoga na yon. Next life, they may be um, in arrangement in a spiritual family or community or even aristocratic family. And those yogi na nagka-practice ng Bhakti Yoga directly connecting to Krishna, there's no loss and diminution. If one performs 5% ng spiritual life niya, next life niya 6%. Tutuloy lang niya itutuloy hanggang ma-perfect niya. If one dies performing Bhakti Yoga, then hindi pa niya na-perfect yung spiritual life niya, next life, much more facility to perform it. You'll be surrounded with much more spiritual person, even aristocratic family and all. So better arrangement. Sabi ni Krishna, yung yogi, sa lahat ng mga yogi na to, the one who is in great faith in Him, always thinks of him within and renders transcendental loving services to him, is the mostly intimately connected with him through yoga. So yung mga bhakti yogis. Sabi ni Krishna, those bhakti yogis are the highest of all. So he confirms the yoga ladder, Krishna himself. So that's the two chapters, 5 and 6. So ito yung Bhagavad Gita. We have 18 chapters sa Bhagavad Gita. So from now on, mostly two chapters a day na tayo. Hinati to, just like the whole Vedas, yung maturity ng pagsulat ni Vyasadeva sa lahat ng Vedic scriptures is the Srimad Bhagavatam. And kasama din doon yung Mahabharat as the Purana. Yung gitna ng Mahabharat, andun yung Bhagavad Gita. So palaging yung mga nasa gitna, naka-sandwich. Sobrang importante. And even sa Bhagavad Gita, with the 18 chapters, the middle 6 chapters is the most important one. So don't miss tong dire-diretsong ano to, chapter 7 to 12. Because yung chapter 1 to 6, pinag-usapan natin yung karma yoga. Means actions in Krishna consciousness. Yung Jnana Yoga, from 13 to 18, mostly the knowledge in Krishna consciousness. But Bhakti Yoga, yung topic with the middle 6 chapters, is doing this both, karma and jnana, but with love and devotion. That's Bhakti Yoga. So yung essence nasa gitna. And sa middle 6 chapters na to, yung middle chapter and the middle verse, ayun yung mga sobrang importante. So don't miss this. So we're now entering sa Bhakti Yoga part ng Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So welcome sa ating session 7.1, Essence of Bhagavad Gita, Chapter 7, Knowledge of the Absolute. Ang ating acronym is HEAD. Bakit HEAD? It emphasizes that si Krishna yung fountainhead or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we must know the knowledge about Him, knowledge of the Absolute Truth. So letter H nung head, 7.1 ng Bhagavad Gita, if you have it with you, you can mark that. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha May Ashaktama na Parta Yogam Yunjan Mad Ashrayaha Asam Sayam Samagramam Yathagnyayasi Tach Shrinu. Shrinu is hearing. So we talk about ears, and now we're talking about hearing. Now hear. That's the instructions of Krishna. So in Tat Shrinu, now hear. O sana pirta, Arjuna. How? By practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. So the best, sabi nung previous verse is, the best yogi is those who practice Bhakti Yoga. Ngayon, sinasabi ni Krishna, in-explain niya rin na ito yung ginagawa ng yogi na yon. Nag-practice siya ng yoga with full consciousness of me. Kaya tayo, Krishna consciousness. We want to be conscious of Krishna 24 hours a day. Yung mind niya attached din kay Krishna, not attached to the material objects, not attached to sense gratification or temporary things, pero naka-attach yung mind niya kay Krishna. Grabe yung love. Diba? You can know me in full, free from doubt. By doing this, one could really easily know Krishna personally. So previously, si Krishna may mga binanggit na mga terminologies. Laging ganito. Kung natandaan nyo, chapter 2 dapat tapos na yung Bhagavad Gita. In-explain na mabilis ni Krishna anong dapat gawin Arjuna. Then fight. Pero, for our benefit, and in the mood of surrender and as a student, si Arjuna asks a lot of questions for clarifications, for everyone to relate, and to learn. So, may mga terminologies na binanggit si Krishna prior nung chapter na to. So, nirepeat ni Arjuna yon. He wants some clarification. Ang tinanong niya, ano itong mga um, topics na yon. Pero bago tayo puntahan yon, ito yung mga benefit kapag one performs hearing spiritually. Steps for advancement as are follows. So, we must hear Krishna about Krishna from kay Krishna mismo or from his devotees. Sobrang malabo na you could hear details about someone tapos hindi galing sa kanya yun. Or galing sa isang tao from someone na hindi related. So that's why this Bhagavad Gita as it is, kasi there's thousands, almost a thousand translation of Bhagavad Gita from those author lang na hindi nag-practice hindi sinasabuhay yung Bhagavad Gita and wala silang teacher na nagka-practice din ng Bhagavad Gita. They made it because it's legendary, bibilin yon, and it's a job being an author. So before Srila Prabhupada went to the West, marami ng Bhagavad Gita nun, pero wala naging devotee ni Krishna. So hindi lahat ng inaaral sa teacher's training course ng mga Bhagavad Gita na libro is authentic. Some of it, if you read, paikot-ikot lang, only flowery words. Some of it, they remove Krishna. They became impersonalists or may yung author, ini-interpret niya according sa poetic or ginagawa niyang fiction. Yung sabihin niya yung battlefield sa katawan lang yun. He doesn't know na meron talagang Kurukshetra. Meron talagang nangyari talaga siya physically. So this is the importance of hearing from Krishna directly, coming down from teachers and students. So by such hearing, Krishna in the heart acts as the best well-wishing friend. So we know we have he in this body, the soul is there, and Krishna is there. As we make effort to know Krishna more, we could hear much more see Krishna from within. And also, Krishna purifies the devotee who is constantly engaged in devotion and service, just like chanting, hearing, association. And the first devotional service, or actually that's Bhakti Yoga. If you translate that, it's devotional service. Bhakti is love and devotion. The first step of it is hearing, Shravanam. So, habang ginagawa to, the heart will be purified by the unwanted baggages. Si Krishna mismo yung naglilinis nun. Natural development of dormant transcendental knowledge. Diba yung soul? Eternally knowledgeable and blissful. So natural na lumalabas uli yun. By more hearing, one becomes fixed in devotional service. If one hears more, one becomes fixed in Bhakti Yoga. That's a part of the sadhana. Freedom from modes of passion and ignorance. So we will talk about this. We have three modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. We want to be in goodness, pero that's not the goal. So papag-usapan natin yan. Pero of course, we don't want na tumambay sa passion and ignorance. Material lust and avarice are diminished. So lust is the eternal enemy. We want to transform it to love. One becomes steady in pure goodness. One becomes enlivened by devotional service and understands the science of God perfectly. So again, this Bhakti Yoga is not sentimental. Na may naramdaman ka lang, na emotion lang. No, we want to understand. This is not sentiments. We must understand. The questions should be answered. If may nagtanong sa'yo, you could answer. Because it is science of God. The philosophy is the science of Krishna. With perfect explanation. Before pa lumabas yung mga modern scientists, even modern, yung NASA, yung mga astronaut, before pa lumabas yun, nasa scriptures na sila. Even magkaroon pa sila ng mga microscope, nasa scriptures na yung mga elements. Hard knot of material affection is severed. So this material affection, our material life is how hard not. Paulit-ulit na buhol yan and mahirap matanggal. It's entanglement. Attachment to money, attachment to fame, attachment dun sa past, attachment sa future, yung worries, lahat. Combination siya na hindi mo makita kung ano yung simula sa kanyang end. It's just a knot. Pero mabilis siya matanggal by starting a performance ng hearing. One comes to the stage of asam sayam samagram, complete understanding of the Supreme. Of course, what could know, may ibang tao pa din magsabi, Krishna is the Supreme. Pero one continuously here, mas maintindihan niya yung absolute truth, which is the truth shall set you free. Si Krishna yon. Everyone wants to know about Krishna and his relationship to him. Hinaharap to kung saan-saan. One will find its arts. One, um, yung before I became a monk, lagi ako ng active sa art scene. Alam ko, nento ko to dun sa podcast, sabi ko. Dun sa art scene, lahat sila may explanation kung ano yung arts. Yung arts, impressionism yan. Yung arts, expressionism yan. Yung arts, a form of rebellion. O yung arts, um, will make one question. Lahat may explanation sa arts. Even yung mga tao na tanongin mo one time, pag tinanong mo siya ulit, iba na explanation niya. Pero, um, arts is always an offering to Krishna. Even yoga, that's performance of arts. Performance arts yan. It was being danced by um, Lord Shiva. Then inulit siya ni Patanjali. Only to offer it to Krishna. So these kind of things, actually, kailangan natin maintindihan. Otherwise, people will just give meaning to it and labo-labo na. So we want to know the absolute truth. Actually, kaya ko nento yun kasi arts and music made me much more curious about spirituality. Yan. So ang conclusion, only way to understand the science of Krishna is through hearing. From him directly, just like what we're doing now, we're hearing about Krishna from him. Kasi Bhagavad Gita is the song of Krishna, the song of God. Sa kanya mismo yung inaral natin. Sa kanya mismo to galing. And from his devotees. So that's H, hearing. So, dinefine pa rito, ano ba yung meaning ng transcendental knowledge? To know matter. So, yung knowledge lang sa paligid, inaaral natin sa school, is just knowing matter. So, if you're gonna study about in the medical field, in engineering, in architecture, in arts, in cooking, that's all matter. Pero the transcendental knowledge, you will understand matter, you will understand spirit, and saan galing to pareho. What is the source of this both? Matter and spirit. That's transcendental knowledge. You will hear that, you'll learn that by hearing. So anong eligibility para maging student? Si Arjuna, as a student ni Krishna, one is a devotee and a friend of Krishna. So we're not just developing being a student ni Krishna. We're developing friendship sa kanya. Deep friendship. So yan. Sinabi, bhakti, this practice is easy kasi walang material requirements. Wala kayong binayaran para maka-attend dito. You just have to uh, log in sa Zoom. Diba? If you have books or not, very easy. Ganun din yung spiritual life. Hindi ka magiging spiritual porket nagkaroon ka ng certificate or pumunta ka sa India. No. You must just hear from the right source. So that's very easy. Kasi wala kang requirement. Hindi mo kailangan ng diploma sa school para magawa mo to. In another sense, however, bhakti is very difficult. Kasi kailangan mo ng selfless devotion. Kailangan selfless yung intention with love and devotion. Hindi siya sobrang dali. And wala rin siyang dapat na thinking na we want to speculate on something, mag-iimbento lang. Or thinking na ritual lang 'to. But easy than difficult. But bhakti is very easy kapag kasama mo yung mga devotees practicing it and you have a teacher. It will be very easy. Hindi mo na kailangan daanan yung lahat ng yoga ladder and one could easily perfect this life. You just have to put love and devotion. So yan, letter E natin sa head, sinabi ni Krishna, He's everywhere. Di ba we want to learn how to become um, the vision, how to have the vision equally. Sabi niya, everywhere you could see me. He's a taste of water. Siya yun. Siya yung pinakamasarap na liquid form. Sa lahat ng iniinom mo, may water yon. He's the light of the sun and the moon. Galing sa effulgence niya. Siya rin yung Om of the Vedic mantras. If you meditate on Om, you're meditating on Krishna. Pero that's just the general name, like Mr. So Krishna's name is his personal name. He's the sound of ether. Yung mga astronaut daw pagpunta dun sa outer space, narinig nila yung sound. Just like is the ability of man. Sa kanya galing lahat ng ability, fragrance of the earth. Lahat ng scent na makikita mo sa Calvin Klein or anumang brand na babango, galing sa earth yon. All mixtures of different things. Sa kanya galing, kay Krishna galing. So a lot of this, strength of the strong, prowess of the powerful, intelligence, galing din sa kanya. Even the regulated sex life of religious principles, galing din kay Krishna. He's everywhere. You want to see Krishna also everywhere. By the knowledge, you could always remember Krishna. So there are people who will accept Krishna and those people who will reject. You will see this everywhere. So apat na, unahin natin yung Duskritinas. You can read this 7 I have to remember anong 7.7. So yung mga fools, mudhas, lowest of mankind, knowledge stolen by material energy, even mayaman sila pero yung knowledge nila nakuha lang ng material energy. So, saka yung mga envious towards God. Alam nila may God pero sobrang envy sila, demoniac talaga sila. These people, for people, sobrang hindi nila matanggap si Krishna. So sila yung mga sa lower left. Even scientists na philosophers. May dalawang klaseng mga philosophers and scientists na natutunan ko sa UP Los Baños. Those scientists and philosophers that would dig deeper and deeper and deeper hanggang umabot na sila doon sa mga matter. Tapos pag umabot sila doon, nature yan, sumamba ng parang Big Bang Theory. Sumamba lang. May sumabog, tas perfect na. Diba? Pero in reality, if you're really, anyway, that theory is still a theory now. Maraming nagsabi na hindi totoo yun. Pati yung mga student na nagsabi nun. Pero walang sobrang gandang nangyari sa isang burst ng isang, or may nagbanggaan na, na kotse. Or may sumabog na nuclear. Pwede mo ba sabing, it's a work of art. It's a complete destruction. So may mga part ng mga scientists and philosophers, when they dig deeper, they go some very little details no matter and a reasoning. They will go beyond. It is beyond us. So after neto matter na to, there is someone, the Supreme, who created this. Kung ano yung mga table of elements, someone created that. So those different kinds of scientists and philosophers. Yung iba, they will just think na chamba lang and they will think na ang galing ng tao. Or they will want the fame and the credit ng mga nare-rediscover nila or inimbento nila. So-called iniimbento. They're just combining different elements. But who's the ultimate creator of that element is still the Supreme. So, ayun yung mga knowledge stolen by material energy. Pero those people who are interested in spiritual life are the pious person ng sukritinas. Sometimes we have to go into stressful situation bago natin isipan, ano ba talaga purpose ng life? So you may know, some of you have spoken with, nagtatanong ako ng reason, how did you become interested in spiritual life, in yoga? Sometimes, lalagyan na tayo ni Krishna sa mga ganitong sitwasyon. Pero for the betterment, you will question something. Yung iba nga, kailangan pa ng near-death experience para maisip ko ano yung purpose ng buhay or para mag-seek sila. Some who comes in the path of the spiritual life is those who seek for wealth. Pero they're the good ones. They want to use the wealth to good things. Yung iba, curious lang. Inquisitive. Pero yung iba, they want to know more about the Supreme. They have that in burning desire for the knowledge of the absolute truth. So you will see this. You will see people around you interested in spiritual life. Ando sila sa mga pious person. Pag nakikita mo sila nandun sa mga impious person, kahit anong explanation mo sila ng buhay mo ngayon, they will not get it, or they will even become blasphemous or criticize. So, yes, andito tayo lahat. Either way. So those who are the people who accepts and rejects this knowledge, this Bhakti Yoga. So yeah, pinag-usapan natin to. Demigods worship. Those who worship the demigods gets material things. Those who worship the Supreme get spiritual advancement. And the material things are temporary. They'll worship because they want something in exchange. Manalo sa loto, magka-boyfriend, pumasa sa board exam, or magka-pera lalo. Or next life, mas mayaman pa siya. So the demigods could give that. Diba? They worship Bathala para umulan. So same, they could give that. But the worship of the Supreme, you get spiritual benefit. It's eternal. And automatically, material um the material supplies will be there. Kasi the demigods are worshiper of the Supreme. Instant na yun. So ayan yung head natin, hearing, because one of the most important thing, we advance in spiritual life through hearing. And Krishna is saying, you can see me everywhere. Ako rin yung energy, and ako rin yung matter. So kailangan lang natin magkaroon ng equal vision to always remember Krishna is everywhere. So merong mga taong who accepts and rejects, the pious and impious. And the demigods is those who gives the material things. But the one who worships the Supreme gets spiritual advancement. So hinga na malalim. That's one quick and fast run through the chapter na to. We're just scratching the surface. Chapter 7. We're going now to, ito yung topic natin, napaka-ganda. Welcome sa ating session 7.2. Exhale. The essence of Bhagavad Gita. So kaya pa ba? Isang like naman dyan. Patingin nga kung gusto nyo ba ituloy. Umulan ng philosophy, no? Yan. So this is very important. Oh, hindi lang siya nag-like. May nag-heart pa. Dalawa sila. Yan. This is very important. Nung nag-aaral pa ako sa Catholic school, lagi namin lokohan ng, ano mo yung mga tropa-tropa, payag ka, ganito yung mangyayari, pero ito yung consequence. Diba? So, lagi kami nagtatanong ng mga ganun. Tapos, may nagtanong na, saan mo gusto pumunta pag namatay ka? Heaven or hell? So, siyempre, knowing that in that kind of scenario, living, growing up in a Catholic environment, lahat heaven yung gusto. Siyempre, sino ba gusto pumunta sa hell? Pero yung kaklase ko, after niya tanongin yun, so, kanda ka na mamatay kung gusto pumunta sa heaven. Walang sumasagot. Ayaw nila mamatay. It is just like, gusto mong pumunta sa isang lugar, pero ayaw mo lumabas ng bahay. So, no one could go to heaven without dying. Kaya ang chapter title natin is Attaining the Supreme. How to go to the Supreme Abode kay Krishna. One should die first. Kaya yung acronym natin is that. So after this, you will not need to knock on wood kasi hindi ka matatakot sa death. You will know and understand death much better. Yung culture natin, tuwing November 1 o November 2, ano ba yung araw ng patay? 1 or 2? So anyway, culture natin, we commemorate the dead one, the dead loved ones. In other cultures, I think sa Mexico, meron silang Day of the Dead. It's a big festival. In some other cultures then, uh, pag may namatay, pinaparada na lang. Sa Philippines, may ganun pa rin. Sa Amerika daw, pinagbawal na kasi nagka-traffic. So, Philippines, di ba, pag naabutan mo yun sa highway, yari ka. Kailangan mag-overtake na napakahaba. Kasi matagal sila bago makapunta dun sa, sa cemetery. I remember nung pumapasok ako sa high school, sa Sukat. Sukat pa rin niya. Okay. Eh, di ba meron na doon yung Manila Memorial. So, pag naabutan ka nung may patay doon, traffic ka na, late ka na sa school palagi. So, lagi ako nalilate dahil doon. So, anyway, these cultures is always reminding everyone that death is just around the corner. In the, um, in India, there's a lot of places there na 24 hours, 24/7 yung fire. Doon sinusunog yung mga patay. You will see the dead ones being carried by relatives. Minsan may balot na tela, minsan wala pa nga. You will see dead bodies and being burnt there. It is in the middle of their village, and a lot of saintly persons are around. They want it to be not in the closed door para makita mo talaga. So, everyone should be reminded na that is there. So, ito yung sinasabi ko kanina, merong mga terminology si Krishna na gusto klaruhin ni Arjuna. So, very clear. Ano ba na sabi ni Arjuna? Ano ba yung Brahman? Yung Brahman. So, that's indestructible living entity. That's the spirit. That's the soul. Adiyatma, Atma is the self or the soul. Sino yung controller ng body? It is just like a vehicle. Ang nagko-control nito is the soul. Yung consciousness na yon. Tayo. Pag wala na yung soul, it's a dead body. Hindi nagagalaw. Then, the topic of karma, the terminology of karma is there as well. Tinanong ni Arjuna. That is fruitive activities or work. So, that's good or bad karma. Tinanong din ni Krishna, ano yung adibhuta, the material manifestation? This is the world. A manifestation ng material na energy. Ever-changing yan. Diba? 2020, 2021, disaster, pandemic and all. After this, for sure, magiging okay naman ulit. For the longest time. Okay uli yung community, okay uli yung pera, yung finance, economy, okay yung mga health ng mga tao. Then after that, will be calamities again. History, paulit-ulit lang yan. 100 years, diba? In 1 year, diba? Broken-hearted ka, tapos nung pandemic, nagka-love life ka bigla. Bago matapos yung taon, nag-break kayo. Tapos ngayong February, masaya ka uli. So, paikot-ikot lang din. Away-bati kayo ng asawa mo, same. Summer and winter, same. Paikot-ikot lang. So, ever-changing. Walang kasi siguraduhan. That's material world. We can hope for the better future, but that's the nature of material world. If you want the better situation, the best situation is with Krishna, the spiritual world. But here, in the material world, it's the perfect balance ng happiness and distress. So, ever-changing. Para ka may kamag-anak na may ADHD, tapos siya yung may hawak ng remote control sa TV sa sala. Lipat lang siya ng lipat. Di pa tapos yung commercial, di pa tapos yung pinapanood, lipat na uli. So, ever-changing. Drama, action, K-pop, diba that. So, that's material world. Try to observe. So, tinanong din niya, sino yung Adidaiva, the supreme demigod? So, sa lahat ng mga demigod, ang supreme doon, universal form. That is Krishna also. That's what you call it. Arrangement niya ng universe. They just don't want to name Krishna. Arrangement niya ng universe. Si Krishna rin yun. Adiyagna, sino yung enjoyer ng sacrifice? Sa lahat ng activities. Yung inaral natin yung 5th chapter, si Krishna, the Paramatma. Siya yung king din nung body na to. Kasama siya nung soul. So, saan siya naka-reside? Yung Adiyagna, sa heart. So, that's how we will know saan yung soul, saka nasaan si Krishna sa heart. Not literally the heart organ. So, yung 8th question, ito importante. Dito umikot yung 8th chapter. Tinanong ni Arjuna kay Krishna. Kaya chapter na to is Attaining the Supreme. How to remember Krishna at the time of death. Kasi sobrang importante yung consciousness mo habang on the stage of dying. So ready na ba to know about the glorious death? You ready na. To know lang not to die Yan. End of life. Ayan yung ating D, in doubt, and letter E is end of life. You mark this in your Bhagavad Gita 8.5. So you can read the 4 parts. Ante kalecha mam eva smaran muktva kalevaram yaprayati samadbhavam yatinasti atra samsayaha. Translation. And whoever at the time of death quits his body, remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt. Kasi sabi rin ni Krishna, wherever and whenever, kung ano yung, ano ba yung perfect translation? Ano yung um, consciousness na isang tao when he dies, doon siya pupunta. Ayun yung destination niya. Ano yung huling matandaan niya? Ano yung huling makikita niya? Ano yung huling maalala niya? Doon siya pupunta. So, totoo yung flashback. Yung napapanood niya sa movie. I don't know kung meron naka-experience na rito ng near-death experience. Pero it will be just like the movies na yung split second, yung buong buhay mo magka-flashback sa'yo. Bago magbanggaan yung kotse, buong buhay mo nag-flashback sa'yo yung bata ka pa, yung mga memories mo nung grade school, nung high school, mga favorite mong moments, yung mga hindi mo favorite na moment, yung mga sinupress mo, lalabas yun doon. And kung ano yung pinakamaraming memory mo, anong pinakamaraming hard drive na nilagay mo sa hard drive mo na memory, ayun yung palagi mo maalala. Ayun yung magiging consciousness mo. Kaya tayo naging Krishna consciousness because we want to invest on that. Ito yung sinabi sa text number 6 ng chapter 8. You can open your Bhagavad Gita. Yam yam vapis marambabam. Tyajate ante kalevaram. Tam tam evaitikon teya sadatad bababitaha. Whatever state of being one remembers, when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, that state, he will attain without fail. Sige. So Krishna tells Arjuna kung ano yung state of being na meron ka when one pass away, one will attain this without fail. So kung huling consciousness mo is family mo, tapos nag-suicide yung isang tao, guess what kung nasaan siya? Nasa ghostly body siya, tapos andyan lang siya sa bahay niya. Ghost entity siya sa bahay. That's the consciousness. Hanggang matapos yung time niya nung allotted for this body. But he ended his life early. Andun pa rin siya. So it's not really an escape to have the suicide. Depressed sila. They committed suicide. Isa silang depressed na ghost. Hindi nawawala yung consciousness na yon. Yung desire nila na gawin isang bagay. Kaya hindi yung consciousness nila nung namatay. Pupunta sila doon. So if one's consciousness is on a certain thing, doon siya pupunta. Sobrang hirap nun na para ka nag-exam, tas never ka nag-review. Tas pagdating mo sa exam, hindi ka ready dun sa exam, kinakabahan ka, nagka-panic ka, nabablanko ka. Ano yung masasagot mo sa exam? Same thing. Diba? Kung naisip mo lang, nag-basketball ka lang, bago yung exam, naisip mo doon bola pa rin. So this life is the perfect preparation para sa final exam natin, which is death. Ano yung goal natin? We want to remember Krishna at the time of death. Sa lahat ng yoga asana, ano yung huling asana, Chantal? Ano yung huling ginagawang pose sa Vasana? Di ba? Lahat pupunta doon. The dead pose, the corpse pose. So that's the end result. Walang makakatakas, walang makaka-deny. If one is just passionate about things, about flying, gusto niya lumipad na lumipad, siyang pilot. Next life, no, you'll have a bird's body. Lipad ka pa rin. The nature will give your desire. Yung law of attraction, hindi lang siya pang pera. Di ba? If you want to just intoxicate, bibigyan ka rin ng body para for that intoxication. So, yung nature bibigay yung desire. So, kaya you have to be careful kung ano yung nalagay mo sa utak. Yung consciousness. Nagiging lifestyle. Aside from the karma, yung consciousness. What will you remember at time of death? So, try to think of something now. Yung mga past or yung mga pinakamaraming memory ka. Kung isang memory card ka, ano yung pinakamaraming laman niyan? Tignan mo yung life mo ngayon. So that's death. No one can escape death. Nothing is sure as death. Wala pa nakatakas sa death. And sobrang importante is to know ano yung dapat gawin. We must remember Krishna. We must, sabi nga, chant Krishna. When a yogi dies, ayun yung pranayama, controlling the airs sa body. Kung saan siya mag-exit yung soul. So Bhakti Yoga wants to exit through the mouth, chanting Krishna's name. When one chants Krishna's name, one can easily go back home, back to God, back to Krishna. Paano mangyayari yon? Lagi mo nung kailangan na alala si Krishna throughout your lifetime. Kaya Krishna consciousness. That's the perfect yoga. Always remember Krishna, never forget him. So you see, you do everything remembering Krishna. And then, at the time of death, kahit ano yung activities na yon, yung consciousness mo palagi about kay Krishna. Easily. Pero sobrang bait ni Krishna. Sabi niya, promise niya kay Arjuna, if ever hindi mo ako maalala at the time of death, pero all throughout your lives, you've been lovingly serving me, I will make sure you will remember me at time of death. Siya gagawa ng paraan. Or si Krishna bumaba ng fi 500 years ago as Lord Chaitanya. He gave the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. He said, if you are having this special service, trying to share Krishna to others, kahit hindi mo ko maalala, ako yung susundo sa'yo at time of death. The very sweet assurance. Ayun yung assurance ni Krishna sa mga yogi who are always conscious of Him. So that's attaining the Supreme. Bakit natin gusto pumunta kay Krishna sa spiritual world? Alam mo, meron dito sa material world. It is temporary, material world. This is miserable. Extremes, nandyan. You cannot say it's heaven. No, it is not. It's material world. Both experience are there. You will experience birth, old age, kahit anong dermatology na puntahan mo, wrinkles will be there. Gray hair will grow. And dun yung disease, and dun yung death. This is life. These four things. Birth, old age, disease, and death. You will experience that. Then even the worlds, the planets, constantly it will have creation and annihilation. But this is the place to learn the lessons. Living in this material world. Ano meron sa spiritual world? Kay Krishna. It is eternal. No birth and death there. So imagine kahit 1,000,000 years ka rito, pagbalik mo sa spiritual world, para ka lang nanaginip doon. Kasi eternal yung time. So it's infallible. Hindi siya nasisira. Full of unlimited bliss. Kasama mo na si Krishna. Kasama si Krishna doon, di ba? All the miseries are gone. The greatest misery, if one realize, is hindi natin kasama si Krishna. Hindi tayo conscious kay Krishna. We're being delusioned by the material energy, running to something na wala talaga. Parang mirage sa desert. Kala mo may tubig, pero wala. So, lahat ng desire mo, fulfilled sa spiritual world. Yung mga trees, yung mga puno sa spiritual world, are just are desire trees. Kalpabriksha. Kahit mango tree yun, pwede ka manghingi ng mansanas. O kaya pinya. O kaya milk. Kasi desire tree siya. So, unmanifest sa mundane eyes, di mo siya makikita having this material eyes. It is transcendental, it is beyond matter, and also this is the supreme destination. Kahit anong process ng yoga gawin mo, ultimately pupunta sila sa Bhakti Yoga. And after Bhakti Yoga, perfected, ito pupunta sa spiritual world. And the place of no return. Paano ka pupunta rito? You must leave this body. This material body belongs to material world. So a glorious death is remembering Krishna at the time of death. Pero hindi madali. Sabi sa scriptures, the process of death is just like having thousands of scorpions stinging your body. Very painful. So pag nagulat ka, 'di ba, may nagbanggaan, may pumutok, may sumabog, ano yung sinisigaw mo? Ay! Okay, nagmumura pa yung tao, 'di ba? Paano pag time of death mo na yon? Ano yung huli mong sinabi? Ano yung huling consciousness mo? Kaya yung mga devotees, everything may mangyari, may malaglag, Krishna. Kahit ano mangyari, 'di ba? Mamaya last moment ko na 'yon, 'di ba? I wanted to remember Krishna. So if we are being trained, kahit ano mangyari, maalala mo si Krishna. Happiness or distress, maalala mo si Krishna. Every little thing, maalala mo si Krishna. Death, maalala mo si Krishna. At least di ka nagmura nung mamatay ka. Di ko na kung saan pupunta pag nagmura. Ayun yung huling consciousness mo bago ka mamatay. Parang ang pangit ng ending ng movie, 'di ba? So we want a glorious death. So 'yan. And yung last letter natin, letter D sa dead. This is the destination ng mga um, transcendentalists. Those who practice ng mga yogis, gyanis, they may go to Brahmashuti, Nirvana, the light, pero babalik pa rin sila sa material world. This light is temporary only, that destination. Nothingness, tumulutang lang sila doon. Walang nangyayari. Walang fulfillment ng desire. Walang suffering din. Wala ring happiness. Nirvana. Or voidism. Brahmajuti because this is the light of Krishna. Yung aura niya, yung effulgence niya. They could not see Krishna. They cannot go beyond that light. Kasi yun yung nilive nilang buhay. Hindi sila personal kay Krishna. Impersonally sila. So that's their destination pag namatay sila. So those materialists, karma candies, who performed donating ng mga schools, di ba, gumawa sila ng mga maraming voluntary works, mabait sila talaga. They may go to heavenly planets. Kasama yung mga demigods. Or baka maging demigods din sila. Pero yung heavenly planets na to are still part ng material world. Again, they will come back to Earth. Sabi nga, they may go to the moon, the sun, and other things. Pag namatay sila in darkness, night, may oras ng pagkamatay. Yung mga yogis, they want to die early in the morning. Pag namatay ka ng night and all fourth night waxing moon, you go karma kanda. Sila yung mga materialist. Material world pa rin. But if you're practicing bhakti yoga, you're unalloyed. Unalloyed, alloy means mixture of metals. Yung mga mahilig mag-bike. Or just alam yung mga elements. Alloy is mixture of metals, strong but light. Unalloyed, very pure. Pure. Pure yung love nila kay Krishna, selfless. Anytime, kahit saan sila mamatay, kahit anong oras, kay Krishna sila pupunta. Kasi, maalala na si Krishna. Or kung hindi man, Krishna will directly susunduin sila. Ayun yung path ng mga with devotion. Or devotee. Kaya devotee is with devotion kay Krishna. Krishna Loka. Loka is planet. Sa planet ni Krishna. Sa spiritual world. Doon sila pupunta. So that is the glorious death. I hope kung magkagulatan man, may near experience kayo na maaksidente, may magbanggaan, try nyo isipin ano yung sinasabi nyo. Yogi-yogi ka nga, tahimik-tahimik ka nga, bait mo nga magsalita, tapos nagmumura ka naman pag may nalaglag. Yung bata! So we should be conscious of that. That's our training. Ano mangyayari pag death will come? We don't know. Walang assurance. Aksidente ba tayo? Old age? Cancer? Diba? Whatever. That will come for certain. Diba? Di mo pwedeng sabihin, ay bata pa ako. Maghahanda ako sa death pag medyo 50 na ako, 60 na ako. Wala makapagsabi. Now is the best time to prepare. Kaya, one should practice bhakti yoga now. Better place than here. What better place than here? And what better time than now? So that is dead. One could go to the supreme abode, to the destination, attaining the supreme. Letter D, Krishna gave a lot of terminologies, and Arjuna asked about them. Krishna answered. Pero yung most important question, how to attain you, how to remember you at the time of death. How to attain Krishna in your end of life, kailangan mag-end yung life sa material world. How to attain the Supreme, you must remember Krishna at the time of death. We must not remember, ay, yung trabaho ko, sinong papalit dun sa business namin, sinong papalit sa position. Wala akong last will. Baka mag-away-away ko mag-anak ko para sa ipapamana ko. Kung gano'n iniisip mo, balik ka rin doon. That's your attachment. Kaya we must work, but detach sa work natin. Always thinking of Krishna. Ito yung end result. Hindi siya maraming drama lang. Kung ano yung nakikita mo sa mga poster, sa mga motivation, self-help, yoga. Ito yung reason. Ito yung deeper meaning nun. Do your work, but detach. Pero bakit anong gagawin mo kung detach ka? Di wala kang puso habang ginagawa mo yung work, no? Always think of Krishna. Kasi we must remember Krishna every time. Kaya Krishna consciousness. There are only two rules. One rule, one regulation. Always remember Krishna. The regulation, never forget him. For us to have the glorious death, we must have the devotion. So that is that. And may assignment. May assignment tayo. Yan. You can write your realizations sa chapter 7 and 8. Or better, anong realization mo sa that? Palitan natin to on the spot. Yan. So before tayo mag-questions and answers, picture muna tayo. Please forgive me. Nag-overtime na ako ng 2 minutes. Yes. So pag nagulat ka, ano yung sabihin mo? Krishna, bawal magmura. Bait-bait mo palagi. No? Sobrang saintly person ako magsalita. Parang ako nagbibigay ng yoga class kahit normal na sa tindahan ka lang. Sobrang kalmado. Tapos pag may sumabog o kaya may maingay, maghisigaw. So we must be Krishna conscious palagi. Hare Krishna. So picture tayo everyone. I want to see you. Yan, si KD lumabas na. Hello, De Niro. Salamat for catching up sa mga videos natin. Yan, si Ben may bagong background. Pusa na yun. Hindi na movie yan. Sige, count of three everyone. Picture tayo. 1, 2, and 3. Isa pa, 1, 2, 3. Sa akin na si Nikki yan. 1. Naglag pa. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much. Nikki, wag ka papahuli na hindi ka nag-work, naggumagawa ka ng ibang bagay. maraming salamat everyone. Please, 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 doble ingat palagi. Andyan yung um, virus, totoo man or hindi. Don't be afraid of it. Pero also, don't be foolish na we will not take care of ourselves. Sabi nga, if you know na uulan, dala ka ng payong. So be careful still. But don't let this fear dictate our life. So anong magagawa para hindi ka maging fearful? Then chant Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Maraming salamat. Kay Mervin, Hare Krishna. Raul, Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Fran, Hare Krishna. Thank you for attending Japa session then. Janice, Riza, Hare Krishna. KD, Hare Krishna. Jonah, Hare Krishna. Chantal, Hare Krishna. Kenny, Hare Krishna. Riza, Hare Krishna. Rizal, Hare Krishna. Pat, Hare Krishna. Ben, De Niro, Nikita, Raul, Pascual, Jasri, Kara, Ron, Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Yan. Pag nagulat kayo, alam na isisigaw. maraming salamat. Okay, few questions tayo before we end today. I'm not yet sure kung luluwas ako ng Manila. I just have to check. Pag may kasakyan, I have to meet someone then. Raul. So if we are mentally chanting the mantra, Maha Mantra, at our deathbed, no doubt babalik pala tayo sa Godhead, kay Krishna. Yes. Mentally or we chant Krishna's name. Actually, we must chant Krishna 24 hours a day. But we should chant minimum sa beats natin. Chanting na naririnig and nare-recite. But if hindi tayo nag-chant, you could always chant with your mind and you can just sing Pero kailangan 24 hours mo nakita si Krishna. And kailangan you chant minimum. May minimum kasi nakaset sa beads. But you could always chant palagi. So that's the goal. Always remember Krishna. But, excuse, um, sabi nga ni Krishna, siya yung gagawa ng paraan para dun sa mga devotee na close sa kanya with full devotion. Minsan, and madalas pala yung mga at sa deathbed na devotees, Krishna will arrange na maraming devotees sa paligid niya, chanting Krishna's name, helping you remember Krishna. That's a glorious death. Kasama mo yung mga devotee ni Krishna helping you out. This Krishna's blessings and arrangement, of course. Yan. So, pag nagulat si Mervin, alam mo na yung isisigaw mo. Delikado doon sa mga nag-iisip ng kanilang mga alagang aso baka bago mamatay, yes. 'Di ba? Pag panganak mo, kumakahol ka na rin. Aso ka na rin. Kasi yun yung last consciousness mo, eh. Hare Krishna! Dugsh! Tapos namatay ka. Ganda nun. Glorious death. Kaya yung, even us, if we see someone die, it's not Hare Krishna. Hindi lang sa tao, even animals. You want them to have better life, next life. So yes, thank you very much. If you have, I don't have any questions. Assignment, napaganito, right? Your realization about that. We have previous belief system about that. Or wala talaga tayong idea. Now at least, by Krishna's arrangement, galing sa kanya mismo, we are learning more about that. The final exam. So maraming salamat everyone. Please finish your rounds today if you don't have, if you don't finish it yet. We have not finished it yet. Read the books and be Krishna conscious by words or much better by actions. Hare Krishna. So, chant palagi, saka chat tayo. High five everyone.